All right, Sean, so we're at your first lesson. The biggest thing we talked about, if you're using your acoustic guitar, just quick reminder about this thing, but I'm going to send you a link to a video of mine called How to Hold the Guitar also, just as a reminder to that. It's like 2 minutes long. The things that we mostly talked about, let's just break them down to right hand, left hand, and rhythm guitar, lead guitar. What we're going to decide you're going to work on are two things. One, the strumming pattern thing that we were doing during the lesson, this, or however it goes,
Right.
and a single major scale that you already know how to do left hand wise.
Oh.
But let's just start with rhythm guitar. The biggest revelation we had was that you've been moving in the range of motion that everybody, the guitar really looks like you would just put your pick here and go. And that's how all your strumming sounded. That I wasn't making a point to make that sound bad. Just if I move in this range of motion, it's gonna. So like we were talking about during the lesson, a much wider range of motion. So before you even start working on that other song, I'd like you to stop now in your practice at home and pause your video and pick just a 2-chord strumming song. If you don't know one, make one up.
Mm-hmm.
That just goes like down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, easy change. Play like Walk on the Wild Side. Something's got 2 chords in it. Whatever you already know, that's the easiest thing ever, left hand wise. Again, the whole concept is that that's going to give you enough conscious focus to form a lasting long-term muscle memory of strumming differently. And theoretically, you could be playing no chords right now and just going, it would sound shitty, but we'd be working on the part that you're actually trying to put into your brain at this point. So let's identify our goal for this part of the video, working on strumming with that bigger range of motion. So pause your video, pick an easy-ass song, and work on that. Having done that, every new chord change that you get to, that's not so easy that it's a no-brainer. Your process is what everybody wants to do is like play changes, have big pauses, play full speed. We're never going to include the step with a new chord. Here's how we're going to avoid that. When you get to a new chord change, for instance, you were seeming like D to C was going to be difficult, so difficult that you had to use this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just isolate that concept and just go, I'm playing D, I'm playing C. Consciously thinking about what your hand's doing. Notice what's happening. For instance, when you switched to F, we noticed that what you were doing was ending up on strings 1, 2, and 3.
Oh yeah.
When what you really wanted to do is just be up one string grouping higher. So similarly with C here, if you find you do the same thing and play F by accident, but I think you're good on this. Like actually pause your video and spend a really boring, excruciating 10 minutes of your life just going D, huge pause, however long it takes, C, but don't go so slowly that you're not actually trying to do it quickly. You don't even have to strum the guitar. You can just do this, and the most important thing is that you stay consciously focused on what you're doing. Don't guess. Go for one good attempt and then pause. Go for another good attempt and then pause. And we're just talking about doing this either with no strum or single strum. So you can be going just D exists, C exists. 10 minutes from now, your brain's going to say, okay, I can do that. So pause your video, please work on that. And then eventually the song that we're playing, it sounds like it goes, whatever happens from there. But like I'm saying, you want to pick something that's super easy for you.
Yeah.
And either way, new concept is you're going to start it way down tempo of where it already is. This is a fast song going.
Yeah.
And so, again, you're going to break it into little sections when you're memorizing it for the first time. Our memorization headspace, where we're learning the dance steps, where we're just going over, this is what I'm going to do with my hands when I actually try to play the song. Then switching to the playing headspace, which is I've memorized the dance steps. Now I'm playing. It's a feel thing. We want to stay out of the guessing headspace. That's a function of I didn't do enough reps of the small section that I was working on. So yeah, staying out of the guessing headspace. There you go. There's the most important stuff I'm going to say today. So any rhythm guitar, strumming stuff, working on that. And we also talked about your left thumb position. When you are thumb over top, there are a few chords we use our thumb to fret with, but it's mostly just like F and D with thumb, for the most part, bar chords. So what we're achieving with putting our thumb over the top is just having a hook to do things with bends and so forth, when we're playing in first position, most people grab the guitar thumb over top, and there's no downside to it. Mm-hmm. Like we talked about, these are the things that were going wrong for you. For starters, you need to picture that softball between your torso and your body so that you get more parallel to the first and second fret, like when you play around the fourth fret. Mm-hmm. And that here's what was occurring for you. And I'm going to zoom in on this. You were going like this, creating all this distance back here, right, where then your hand disappears behind the instrument. And then coupling that with putting your thumb too far over the top, so your hand disappears even farther behind the instrument. This is me being you before I told you what to do today. So so just pause your video and just work on that this left hand stuff. And you're just going to drop at your shoulder and elbow. Right? What you were doing was pulling your hand up here, and that all goes back to when it was really hard to push down, and you had to find like a vice grip way to play chords. So it neither goes that you just always put your thumb here, or that thumb over top means this ridiculously overkill thing that you're doing right now. So just and thumb off to the side, we don't want so much. That's all been. So either way, at home right now, this little subsection that you're working on goes, I'm going to try this new arm position, just playing first position chords and shit. Mm-hmm. And then, maybe you play the G major scale or something, the one place you know how to play it. Next section, picking. You want to be alternate picking when you're playing musical notes. And you're doing a good job already of not going like rolling your hand off. You're playing good long tones, but you need to play more slowly and use a much more economical range of motion rather than being like that. Which again, if my thumb's over the top and I'm trying to play a major scale, which is literally impossible almost, I'm going to be doing with the same exact shit you are. Yeah. So that's the thing, is this is the type of thing that's meant to be done in classical thumb position. So the first thing you can do is just go first, four fingers, 4 frets on the bass string, with your middle finger on A or whatever. And that's going to get you into classical thumb position, which is where we need to be for 4-finger playing, let alone if there are actually any reach notes. It's impossible to do reach notes. Like if you had to move your first finger 1 fret, that would be impossible with thumb over top. Right? There you are, the position you're in right now during your lesson. And just take however long it takes to wrestle your hand into that position. We don't mean this. We just mean like my thumb straight up and down, and I'm 4 fingers, 4 frets. The same position you're in when you play bar chords. And just try to play a scale. And when you're doing it, pretend the concept rhythm doesn't exist. Or if you have to play in rhythm, decide you're going to put 5 seconds per note. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Ideally, what we'd like you to do is just consciously focus on what you're doing with your left hand, deprioritizing right hand for the moment, and work on that smaller range of motion really slowly and really consciously focused on what you're doing. So pause your video and spend 20 minutes or whatever on that in your entire life, 10 minutes. And now let's try to incorporate alternate picking. So just pick down up the whole way. It's stuff you've tried, but intuitively you've just been going down, 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 down. And there's X% of things that we can do with all downs. But even playing at this pace is like, unless we're gonna play like it's metal. So aside from metal stuff, where it doesn't sound right unless we do it all with down picks, we want to be doing alternate picking. So do not get to here until you're already in the better position left hand wise. And then in your practice at home, run any of your scales. And if you can't just play out of rhythm, consciously focus, go 10 seconds per note, 5 seconds per note, whatever it takes to not be guessing, but actually thinking about what you're doing, keeping in mind that when you go to do this, you'll have already worked on the left-hand part when you try to start alternate picking.
Right.
Which is representative of our entire approach to this stuff, which is going to be working in small sections, learning one thing at a time. If a thing is 4 riffs long, I don't want you to try the third riff until you can completely crush the first 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's just more how our brain actually absorbs stuff. So let's decide that's what you're doing this week and putting everything else down. The point is not fun right now. The point is to learn to play a musical instrument. So you're gonna end up finishing faster, but the part where you just play songs and have fun, this isn't that. This is you working on your technique so that you can play songs and have fun in a million different contexts. But it'll be more fun doing it this way because you'll actually make meaningful progress and you'll have direction.
Right.
There you are. That's what we're doing today.
Makes perfect